All right, what's up, YouTube? So I've got a little bit of feedback for this episode. We're gonna do our best not to just straight up complain or anything like that. I want to give some actual feedback. So first things first, opening sequence way too long, way too long. I get it and what you're trying to do. I see the vision, but it's a lot. It's way too long. Make it about half as long and it would be fine. But as it is, if you've got multiple characters and you've got to go through like an hour of an opening sequence, that's too long, bro. It's too long. This is an MMO, and everything about it is on a time crunch. You've got to be as efficient and as quick as possible to get everything done that you need to do and get in and get out. So, have that in mind. Have the player's time in mind when you do these in the future. It's just way too long. Open world. I don't understand what the insistence on spreading out your NPCs is. Like, I get it that these missions that you pick up from the NPCs for the daily missions are going to take place in that area. We don't necessarily need to have the NPC in that area because people don't go area to area. They pick all their missions up at once and they go and they clear them. So if you're going to insist on spreading your daily quest out, at least show people where they're at, like you did in the last episode, where you can get the marker and go and learn the route. Because like the first day, bro, I didn't know there was more than one. I didn't know if there was any dailies out there. I didn't see anything. I just happened to run into Santana, and that was the daily I picked up. So that was the only one I did yesterday. Uh, I ran around the whole map, and I didn't see any other exclamation points. And even though I looked at the map on the on duty menu, um, and I saw the NPCs there, it didn't like click in my head to go and look for them. And I don't know, maybe that was just because it was an off day. Maybe that was just because like, hey, I was still taking in everything from this episode. It's very bizarre how everything was introduced because we didn't know what to expect. There was no content coverage ahead of time, so it was all brand new. And I don't know, it was weird. Like I said, it was bizarre. Um, the big complaint, though, is why is the alert and the raid the exact same thing? It's the exact same instance, the exact same capture, hold, escort mechanic, just adding 4 more people. We're in the elite raid right now, and like in this gameplay, and you only need like 2 people for an obelisk. That's fine. I don't mind the mechanic. It's not very challenging to veteran players. It's I had a tougher time running the regular version than I did running, this version. I've never ran with any of these people. This is like the first time I've ran with them, unless, this is like an alt or something. But, we had no problem getting through it. Died like once or twice just because. But it needs to have more mechanics. For one, the raid needs to have more mechanics than the alert. You can't just have one mechanic, capture and hold, and then the escort can barely be called a mechanic because you'll see in this video that, like I said, I'm 466, and the tank stays on the obelisk for a minute there before he follows me when I'm escorting the NPC. But I'm over here clearing out the path of NPCs by myself as a DPS, just running through them, bro, shredding them like paper. You should at least need the tank to escort. It's You know, I guess that makes it efficient, whatever, but that shouldn't be the intended purpose. It should be a little bit tougher as elite. Um, and then there should be more, like at least one other mechanic in here. Like these can barely be called a mechanic. And Faust barely has any mechanics. It's more just like dodge and roll and don't stand next to the person with the purple underneath them and don't stand in the purple circle. It's very straightforward. There's like no real mechanic to it though. It's just kind of a void. And that's it. But I don't understand why the alert and the raid are the exact same thing. That's weird. And then why are we having a recycled raid with NUE? So, I mean, this comes off as two ways. It comes off as experimental and lazy. Now, I don't know why NUE was put in. I don't know if that was just like a compromise so that you can go in and do some testing and experimenting and figure out if this works and gauge players' interest. Personally, I'm okay with recycling an old raid if you're going to tack it onto, like if we're going to do flashback stuff, that's fine, scale it up. Um, Maybe add in some new mechanics to it. Um, if you want to tack an old raid onto a new episode, that's fine, but you have to have more in the new episode. You can't just have one alert and one raid and one solo, and then the alert and the raid be the same thing. That's not it, bro. This is not it. This cannot be how the content runs in the future. This is not going to be player retainment. This is not going to bring players back, and it certainly is not going to get players to spend money, because you can start selling your currency where you can just buy the gear outright. But there's no point if there's nothing to do. So we need to at least have two original raids and an original alert that's separate. It has nothing to do with the raid. It's not the same exact thing. You know, I don't know what the thought process behind that was. It's just weird. So that's what I really have to say about it. I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, there's not much else to it. I don't understand the reason why you didn't do testing ahead of time. I don't know if that's because you didn't want players to see what it was going to look like, but you wanted to advertise it on PlayStation. As far as I'm aware, the PS5 version is still broken as well. Like, I'm on the PS4 version on my PS5 because I've never seen an update posted for the PS5 version. The last time I tried to get onto it, it still had some latency in it, enough to where I just didn't want to play on it. So, yeah, this cannot be the way that we do chapters in the future, if that's what you want to call it. And then how quickly are we expecting new chapters to come out? Because there's not a lot to this. It's very bare bones. I get it that it's experimental, but are we expecting another chapter to come out in like 2 months, 3 months? Because 4 or 5 months for this, that's not it. Again, that's not going to retain players. There's not enough content. I don't know. There just needs to be more, really, and not this drip feeding stuff that we've had where you add in a second or a third bounty over the span of like 4 and 5 months. There just needs to be more, you know. Anyways, as far as the episode, I think it looks good. It needed the testing, and it just needs more. The alert and the raid being the exact same thing is totally unacceptable. And the lack of mechanics is unacceptable. how long the opening sequence is just too long. That's got to be cut down for real. So those are like the main complaints people had. That was my main complaint. Like the alert and the raid being the same thing kind of made me not want to play after I did them. I was like, what is this? And I did log off after that. You know, I was like, okay, this is just weird, bro. There's a lot to take in. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. What are you thinking about this chapter? It's going to be weird not calling it an episode. I may still call it an episode, but I always like to be proper with my terminology. So, anyways, let me know what you think about it down below. Anyways, I will catch you guys next time. Wooly out. Stay frosty. And just enjoy the last few minutes of this episode. I mean, raid, whatever. Peace.
No one defies the power of Phoenix House and lives to tell the tale.
Everyone, meet up at the center. We're gonna end foul of God.
Better than you have tried to end me, mongrels. Tried and failed. clear of that. It's so that's nothing. Instantly clear will be toxic. My God.
Won't stand aside. I will go instead.
Inside, Bob. Watch out. Look out. Those little buggers are dangerous. Upsy daisy, Felix. You and me still have business to settle, mate.